I got Saff Saffery here from the #1 Tiger King Raw. Let's talk about the incident. I was just kind of confused on the events that led up to that part. Right. Hello, 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 Team Humanity. What is going on, Team Humanity? I got a great show for you guys tonight. This is going to be an awesome night. I got a very special guest here, but look, I got Saff Saffery here from the #1 hit series on Netflix, Tiger King Rawr. What is up, Saff? How you doing tonight?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
Saff, look, first off, thank you so much for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. So let's talk about COVID-19. So how are you? You're in quarantine right now?
I guess, yeah. It's not mandated to stay home, but it's safer. It started to drive me a little crazy, I'll be honest. There's entire shopping centers shut down here, so it's a pretty big deal.
Have you like got out and driven around and see like the empty stores? It's weird, right?
As cliche as it sounds, it's almost a ghost town, and people here, they take it seriously, and they should. People that you do see out, man, they got face masks and gloves. I mean, it's like you're walking through the ICU of a hospital everywhere.
I'm calling it the virus before the zombie apocalypse. I'm telling you right now. This could be this
Yeah.
could be the virus that ends mankind. You never know. Just tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Hawaii, two sisters and a brother, so I grew up with, lots of love, lots of laughter,
No.
lots of pain. 34 years old now. Been through some stuff. I'm just trying to enjoy life, honestly, take everything for what it's worth and just run with it.
Dan is asking you, what made you want to go back to work so fast?
For one, my character in general, if you were to ask me right now if I wanted to wait 2 years for anything or have it taken care of immediately, I'd make the same decision, cut it off. I
Yeah.
wanted to get back to park and do my own personal damage control. These
No.
animals can't speak for themselves. And at that point, they were the #1 target.
And that's one of the reasons why I tried to get in contact with you and watching the documentary. I loved your character and how genuine and sincere, and you come off as very, very realistic. I got Amy asking, would you ever work with animals again?
Yeah, absolutely. On a personal level, even till this day, I interact with these animals. And obviously, that's something that I'm passionate about. So I definitely wanted to continue to do that. I just, as of right now, as it stands, I don't think I want to do it on a professional platform anymore. So,
Let's talk about before Tiger King. Before working at the park and everything. Did you have any
okay.
other side gigs or jobs?
Prior to being on that park, I was actually in the United States Army.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, thank you for your service. I really appreciate it. My
Yes,
brother's
sir.
in the Army. He's in Walter Reed right now, and he's a medical lab
Yeah.
assistant. Where were you stationed?
I was stationed in North Carolina, Fort Bragg. I was stationed in Fort Lewis, McCord in Washington. And then lastly, I was stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, which is why I
Yep.
was in Oklahoma.
Look, Saf, thank you so much for your service. I really appreciate it. All right, so let's talk about the development of Tiger King before, the pre-production. So how did Tiger King come to life? How did it happen?
In all honesty, in all reality, we were constantly being filmed. If it was not from Joe himself and his production team, there was always a crew there filming us for something. So that's what brought a lot of them there, is that mixture of Joe has a story, and he is on a park with 200 something big cats, and this is his life. And then, of course, once they come to the park, they meet everyone else involved, myself included, and this was just another one of those moments, man, where this TV crew came on park and said, "We just want to film you guys doing your everyday things." And next thing you know, 2020, it's a sensation.
Can you just explain to me more about your role at the park before
Right.
the incident?
So beforehand and through and through, I did the exact same thing from the moment I stepped foot on that park to the moment I left in 2018.
Okay.
And that was the one-on-one care of the animals, the direct care of the animals and their husbandry. So cleaning their cages, which included, picking up their poop, enrichment, which included anything to keep them busy, whether it's a toy or changing their diet or rearranging their enclosures. And then, of course, feeding and watering and interacting. I mean, a big part of these animals' lives was not just existing and living. It was interacting with us. I mean, they seemed to love it as much as I did, is the way I took it, because if a 500-pound tiger doesn't want to interact with you, he'll let you know that right off the bat. you know? So
Oh, wow.
I just took that mutual respect and kind of ran with it, man. I consumed myself in every single second of it, and I would not change it for the world.
All right, I'm gonna ask a materialistic type question. You don't have to go into
All
too
right.
much detail, but was it good pay to work at that park? Because this is from my perspective. You're taking care of an animal who could
Right.
who can kill you. So if someone were to approach me, and be like, "Hey, you want to do this? You know, you love animals and take care of them," I'm gonna be like, "Well, you're gonna have to
Right.
pay a pretty a pretty strong price."
I'm only talking about our park. I'm not talking about parks across the United States. I'm talking
Okay.
about Joe's Park in Wynnewood, Oklahoma. There wasn't any benefits, there wasn't any medical coverage. The paycheck was just enough to get you through to the next week, maybe.
Okay.
But again, the type of people that work there and stayed there and thrived there are not the type of people who expect or need those type of things in their life. Fortunately for me, I didn't need the financial aspect of it.
Yeah.
I was able to do it for nothing.
Let's talk about the incident. So
Yeah.
from me watching the show, and when they filmed your incident, they showed it. It goes straight to the part where I see you're on the ground, and there's blood everywhere, and that's it. And I was just kind of confused on the events that led up to that part. So I
Right.
was just wondering if you could explain that to me and the viewers here.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a routine day. I was doing routine chores, and what that consisted of was moving these tigers from their main enclosure to a catch pen, is what we call it. Yeah, a main enclosure is where they just live. That's where
Okay.
they are all day, every day. And we move them out of those enclosures so that it's a safe environment for the employees to go in and clean and feed and water and place enrichment items without the tiger being, or the animal in general, being in their enclosure with them.
Hmm.
So that's
Okay.
all I was doing. I had him shifted out, so that the employees could get into his enclosure, and I was just shifting him back. I was shifting him back from his catch pen to his main enclosure. And we have tools. We have all the tools, that we need to do it safely for both parties, me as an employee and the animal. And I got complacent, man. I really did. I do it all day, every day. It was a tour day. It was a Saturday. It was 10 a.m. in the morning. I just wanted to get through my chores so I could move on to my next.
Hmm.
And when you do something like that around these living, breathing, dangerous animals, they're going to show you what they're made of. And that's exactly what he did that day. He bit me as soon as I reached into his pen to open his door. And then the rest of the damage, aside from him biting the fingertips of my left hand, was done by his claws. He shredded me from my elbow down. And it was a matter of 20 seconds, maybe,
Were you
from the moment he bit me to the moment he let me go.
probably happened so quick? What did it happen
Right.
so quick where you were just like you didn't feel any pain, or did you feel it and you were just like, oh my god,
Right,
like
right. Yeah, no,
scream
no.
or
I mean, yeah, I don't know if there is a matter of time that makes a difference in that, but I felt everything. I was aware of everything. But I will be honest with you, my biggest concern was I was not the only one involved in this situation. I had at least 9 employees that were working under me, cleaning all these cages, standing there watching this happen. The park was open, so there was customers on park, you
oh
know?
wow, holy crap,
My biggest concern was remaining calm so
yeah.
that everyone else can have just the slightest calmness about them. I mean, I can imagine what was going on in their head, and that's something that wasn't highlighted. That's something that we don't talk about often is the effect it had on the other people that
Hmm.
experienced this with me. Maybe not directly, but they were there, and it makes a difference. It matters.
Okay, so that happened, and then obviously you got rushed to the hospital.
It was a lovely experience in the hospital. As soon as I showed up there, they rushed me into surgery immediately, just do whatever immediate damage control they needed to on my hand at the time. It was a successful thing because they were able to reattach everything. I was able to use my hand, the minimalist. I was able to pick things up, put it down. I was able to write. So it looked promising. I had high hopes, I'll be honest. And then the surgeon came in and told me, hey, man, no matter what you're looking at on your left hand, it's going to be years of reconstructive surgery to get it to full ability. He couldn't even give me a percentage of what type of ability I would have. Yeah.
Wow.
And he was just trying to be honest and be real with me. And I appreciated that. And immediately I was like, I cannot wait that long. I do not want to go through all of that without even a promised, percentage of you're going to have this other hand if you just wait 2 years. So I just opted to amputate. And the funny thing is, he actually told me I would have lost more. He was talking about amputating above my elbow. And I still said, yeah, just amputate because I didn't want to wait around. I really didn't. I knew I had to get back to park. So
Yeah. Wow. That's very courageous of
yeah,
you. After the incident, you just went back to work and you're just like, from judging from your character, you just probably just like, all right, well, it's another day at work, like the next day, right after the hospital, right?
right, right.
Yeah. All right. Look, why did you leave, and where are you working now, or do you have any future, plans or career choices?
I was able to live my dream every second of every day on that park. And the least I could do is give that back. And once I realized that there was literally nothing more I could do physically on that park for those animals, and I started to feel like more of the problem, a part of the problem than a part of the solution, is when I decided to leave that park for good.
Why would you feel like you're part of a problem?
Anyone who's watched the documentary, if they have, they know that Joe is sitting in prison right now.
Yeah.
For a lot of the things he did within the animal industry, not just the things that he did, within his own personal life, but
No.
within the animal industry, he was a part of a lot of things that I don't condone, but I was obviously an active part of it, being a part of that park.
Yeah.
And like I said, once I realized that, there's nothing I'm doing to stop that. So it's almost like I was a part of the support of that. I had to leave. I had
Okay.
to.
And one of the things that amazes me about this documentary is that I want to say most people don't have an idea of this type of like lifestyle and
Yeah, it really has that train wreck can't look away type of vibe to it, you know. If you're obviously not in the industry or know nothing about the industry, it's definitely foreign language to you. But there's certain things that is just captivating. And that's what I meant by there is a story there. There was always a story there. There's things in here that is strictly, I mean, it's purely entertaining, about these people's lives, about these people's personalities.
All right, we can we can briefly talk about Joe really really quick. I kind of think Netflix kind of had an angle where they kind of made Joe the bad guy. One of the things that I've noticed is that he took people in and gave them jobs and gave them a lifestyle and a community, and paid them. To me, that's a big thing. I mean, how do you feel about all that?
Yeah, I feel strongly about that.
Yeah.
I knew Joe Vogel, I knew the man. I also knew all the other stuff because he was like that 24/7. But he had these very human moments about him that I got to witness, and I wanted the world to know if they're going to see one side, I would want them to see it all.
Yeah.
I think it was just a matter of he's just human at the bones of it, and I got to see that. So maybe I just got lucky. Who knows?
Was real life Joe as shocking as the show portrayed?
Yes. Yes, he was. Every character that you guys speak of in this documentary are people that I know personally. And yes, they are portrayed exactly the way that they are. Yeah.
If there's one thing you could change during your time there, what would it be?
It would definitely be my awareness. I consumed myself with these animals. I was very uneducated when I first arrived into the industry, so I think I would definitely, yeah,
There wasn't any
physically
there
has.
wasn't any tiger like any tiger training or
There
anything like
wasn't there
that.
wasn't any. No, I didn't have any training, and I wish I would have at least been more aware, if not educated, for sure.
Was it fun working with Joe and the beautiful animals? So overall, did you have fun there at the park?
Blast, time of my life. It was the best time of my life. Yeah.
How close did you get with the animals?
My hand was in his mouth. That's how close I've been to the
Yeah.
animals.
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of positive feedback from this whole thing. They enjoy the way that I kind of go about life, my perspective on life. And
Yeah.
I have this motto that I, just kind of picked up a long, long time ago from the Jackass movie. If you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough. So live by it. Live by it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I couldn't agree more.